Hi, I'm Shay Sights.
And I'm Reagan Foxx.
Just kidding.
Or are we? Why don't you go find out and watch Let Me In?
On adult time.
And you're watching us on John the Ninja.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's John the Ninja live in the dojo, aka the Dojang. You know it's the John the Ninja Studios. And if I have any fans of the current ladies here, we got some Easter eggs for you. So we're gonna do number one, we're gonna do number two, and then we're gonna do number three. We'll go from there, and I'll explain it later. But the ladies I have,
You didn't have to explain that. That was so much. I got to know what that was all about.
we're gonna get to it. But the two ladies I have are not just twinning for fun; they are trailblazers in the adult industry with over 400, technically 900 scenes together, working for Girls
God,
Time, Naughty America, MILF.com, New Sensations, Brazzers, Girls Way. You can tell where I'm going repeating that twice, but one is a Southern belle that loves Kentucky, and the other one is a Cali girl who's from Canada. Both ladies are Shay Sights and Reagan Foxx. We're here today to talk about their film, Let Me In, a combined effort by both ladies after being mistaken for so long for each other. They finally got together, concepted, co-wrote, and starred in a film, which changes your thinking of not just horror, but how pornography can be approached with adult time and their director, Bree Mills. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I give you both ladies. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a whole script. I had a whole idea where I was going to go. Shay, I apologize. I'm very confused on the differences between the provinces in Canada. So could you relate a little more? Was it just other side of the country? So Toronto's over here and then British Columbia's over here?
That would look New York versus Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So still a big city, but the beauty of the Pacific Northwest. I am biased.
it's
Sure.
okay. I mean, I got I got a Nets hat on. I got a little Jersey pride in me. So
I love the East Coast. I mean, I think the call, I'm as far as beauty goes, my back hurts. I'm gonna just sit up on this little ledge here. Yes.
Have you guys been up all day? Because I saw a post at like 6 a.m. I didn't know if you were doing production or if you were just relaying something.
Long day yesterday. We were on set. Very, very long day. So yeah.
I was up early.
Yeah, I went to bed really late.
But we weren't shooting Christmas sweaters at 6 a.m.
Reagan, I know during the pandemic you were learning to play the ukulele. I had to know if you ever mastered.
I didn't know. Were you?
Okay. Yes, but I'm left-handed. So, and everything out there is for right-handed people. So I really did try to learn right-handed. And then I restrung it, I thought, for left-handed, and that was a disaster. So no, I haven't continued that. I still want to. I own like 3. And so I really do want to, and I want my kids to do it with me, but I need to get it strung.
How have I not
String.
heard this?
However, I can't believe you know this.
I did want to pose the same question to you, Miss Shay. Also, Reagan, that was all for you and your fans with the extra. That was Easter eggs from her camming days. Did you play any instruments or are you musically inclined? I know you're empathic.
No, I'm not. I'm not great. Like I took piano lessons growing up. And I think I have a picture of me when I was 5 at a violin recital and everybody was on stage and I was asleep in my chair and I was the only one with my violin. And it was like one of those family pictures that went down in history.
Wow,
Oh yeah.
nice.
Sleeping through the violin recital.
That's nice.
Just me.
I love that. I love the violin.
Yeah. So no.
No
My
worries.
art form is just the healing arts.
I see you have a guitar there.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
yeah.
So I can do piano and I play flute. So, and I always wanted to play the cello. So I think it's awesome that you did the violin. I think that's cool.
Ladies, I really want to hit this film, Let Me In. Congratulations. It's doing phenomenal. It was released in August and it has been creeping up Adult Time's most viewed, most cherished videos. And it's at the number 3 spot currently. I wanted to know what it was like when you guys finally decided, like, hey, let's actually sit down and write. I want that first session when you really locked in because we know the story of how you met in AVN and then you went out for drinks. But I want to know the first real moments of conceptualizing and
Well, for me, it was I had been asking Shay for a few years, like, I think we should do something. Like, can we get something? I think something should be going on. And
We couldn't find the right fit.
really couldn't find the right fit. And then during that time, that was right after COVID, and more people started to call us by the wrong names. So, and I think as that really gained traction, we'd go get tested. She'd go get tested on Tuesday, go on Wednesday, and they would say, "Weren't you just here yesterday?"
I mean, that happened often.
Or her PR person we'd be standing here and her PR person would talk to me. So as it
And I
started
think
to
your
be
agent
gaining.
chased me down at ABN.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the back of me, but yeah, he did.
Nice, nice.
Because he was upset you weren't where you were supposed to be. But it was me.
I must have been where I was. I don't
Yes,
know.
you were. You were exactly where you're supposed to be.
So I think as that transpired, that she really started to see, hey, this really is a thing. And then with her connection, she was able to push it forward into, other avenues. And then we were able to really kind of pick and choose where we wanted it to go.
One thing that I found really cool, but very questionable for me, was you mentioned a while ago, Reagan, that you wanted to do something different for scary movies. You
Yeah.
said you didn't want something demonic, but then when I think of scary movies, I'm like, yo, there's a lot of, hack and slash. So when you guys approach this project, and it's understood that, Miss Shay is supposed to be the evil entity, but there are certain things you guys made sure to stay clear of, but also attack. What was the parameters to say, like, okay, this is a little too demonic. No, this is okay. I was just curious on that thinking on what was acceptable.
And that's a very good question. I think when I used to watch scary movies and read Stephen King, that was back in the day when they made all the slasher movies, the Freddys and the Jasons. And then they turned demonic with the Conjuring or Insidious and that type of thing. And I have to be really honest, I just saw the Conjuring 2 the other day and I kind of liked it. I was like, okay, I can deal with this. So I that's a good question. I don't really know if I make sense on that. I know I used to love scary movies and I want to be in horror type of creepy type of roles. But yeah, the demonic stuff isn't really crazy for me, but shape shifting is kind of a thing
Yeah.
out there now in the real news
Body
and
swapping
fake
is
news. So
actually
it's
huge
kind of
too.
it kind
Yeah.
of fits.
We just naturally were able to do body swapping because everybody confuses us, but body swapping is actually a really big kink, which I didn't know. Like whatever you call it, going into body.
Snatching.
No, when you go into someone else's body, that's like a kink.
Both
So
words are actually very appropriate for it, swapping and switching. And
back to your point with like how demonic did we want to go? I personally, for me, I'm a really nice person. Well, and so is Reagan. So like I think we both had to push out of our comfort zones even more. Like I probably could get there a little faster than you because she's more nurturing than me, but my character was more evil. So we were both pushed to be. I think I would have taken it as demonic as I was able to go because I had to push myself to even get to where I was. We're hopeful that we're going to do a sequel soon because we have so many great ideas. And I think we have a handle on like, we're all fired up about being able to go in that direction. And I don't know, like, I don't know if, I mean, demonic's categorizing it, but being able to bounce back and forth between, the good part of the character and the evil part of the character, like, I would take it as dark as I was able to, but that wouldn't be, a choice I made in my brain. That would be a choice that was made by what I'm able to do from an acting standpoint. Because I don't think I could go much more demonic than I did, but I want to work on it because I love those evil aspects.
Right. Yeah, I did love those.
Yeah.
And we shot that movie in 2 days. So we're really, really proud of how it turned out after the 2 days. And we had a timeline crunch and so forth. So a
lot of things happen.
There's a lot
Didn't
more
have much
we would
time to
love to
edit.
do differently in the next one.
And I love the dichotomy between you guys. It looks like, Reagan, you said that you're more shy, and then when the cameras come on, then you get it, and you're all more expressive. And then Miss Sights, you also are a little bit more dominant. So here, I feel like the film was able to really showcase you guys in that light, your natural. Not saying you're demonic, Miss Sights, we gotta say that, but your natural comfortability.
No,
And you're exactly right. I mean, just yesterday, I watched her take her bare foot and basically choke a dude and told him to get down on the ground. Like, like she has that side of her that she can push forward and like, whereas me, it's a little bit more like, did I hurt you? Okay. So yeah. So, but I think we could see a lot more from her next time.
Yeah. But the 2 sex scenes we did in this movie, really pushed you, which I think was really cool.
Uh,
Because you did much different scenes than you normally did. The sex battle and then
Mhm.
the threesome was
Mhm.
because she had to meet me to battle back and forth because she was struggling with the good character and like my possession, right? My evil inside of her. So she had to go there, which was really cool.
For you ladies to have worked with Bree, you know, I've talked to other performers, I've talked to people that are civilians that know of her work and are in awe of her actual editing, her ability to direct. I wanted to know what your experience was as far as the actual scene, because she's really the catalyst that she gave you the script back and said, hey, what do you think about going this way? And you guys were like, this is it.
I think that her co-writing it with us was really cool because she's brilliant, but also because she gave us so much creative control. So she gave us a script and we said, let's do this. Let's, Reagan, for instance, was like, we need to have that the sex battle. She put that in afterwards, and Bree was super receptive to everything we wanted to do. But what I think I like the most about Bree's directing is she wants it authentically us, and she lets us ad lib. It's not extremely scripted, and we can play with it and like sort of channel different things. Like that smile, I was like, I need to walk by the camera and be sad and then evil smile into the camera, and she lets us run. There was at no time did we want to do something and expand creatively, and she said no.
for
But
me, go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
yeah, but when she wanted something out of us and she's like at the door, she's like, no, I want it like this and I want it like this and do it again. So
Mhm.
she's really allowing, but when she's focused on something she wants to, she's good at pulling it out of us.
I think for every director gives you something different that you can take away, whether it's being creepy or sad or whatever. And for me, she has been the only the director that has said, I really want you just to lean into it, like all the way. I want to see 100%. And she, that's exactly what we were able to do. Sometimes directors will say, make me believe it. But her, maybe just her way of speaking about it was lean into it.
Mhm.
I want to see what you've got. And it was exhilarating.
Mm-hmm. And she got several different takes because I mean, we were behind the monitor for each other. So, for instance, when at the end, the car scene, there was multiple. There was multiple shots of Reagan, one that was a little more demure, sad, one that was really frantic, one that was crying. We're just gonna give this to you because you need it.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
My back hurts watching you. Um, so she, and same thing at the door with my scene, same thing when Reagan opened the door. Same thing with the scene upstairs. There was multiple takes of different
Levels of intensity,
levels
or
of intensity.
a lot of times it'd be like, is that too much? And she's like, no, give me more if you got it. And so it was nice that we were able just to leave it all on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. And then they sort of picked what this time I think it's going to be a little more
Why don't you
planned out.
tell him since
Oh
you
yeah,
say it.
they're have I been
Yeah,
I'm
just
talking
just,
about it like
just
you're
tell
not
it. Just tell.
yeah.
So
We're
make your big
talking about
announcement.
we're talking about a sequel.
We were given the green light yesterday, so to move
Yeah.
forward with the sequel.
Yeah. So there was some things that happened that couldn't be helped. Porno related issues that just are part of the game.
Time issues.
Yeah, and that are time issues that created a bit of a time crunch in the editing. So we didn't really get to have a lot of, and Bree is brilliant and she wanted us to be a part of it. She's like, I gotta just run with this. Do you trust me? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. We're hoping next time we have time to actually look at different takes and have a little bit of creativity in the editing too. But I mean, it turned out.
And we've already got the opening scene for the next one, so like
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yes. Yeah.
With so much hype behind you ladies finally doing work together, finally having that film, there's added pressure. But when you're on set, it can be fun, it could be serious, but when you're working on a production like this and it's, really locking in, there's always that moment that was most special to you, whether or not it was a happy moment, whether it was like, we just had to get it right and we finally got it. Sometimes the dichotomy goes back and forth. Was there a particular moment for you ladies respectively where that was, that was the definitive moment of this film for me?
For me, it was honestly just the last scene
The last
of it was the ability that we were able to make a really cool movie in 2 days. Where other people have, 9 days, we were able to get this done in two. And it
Were you talking about the car? Or are you talking about
I'm
the
just
end of
talking for me, it wasn't just one particular moment. For me, it was just the whole thing. It was watching the actors evolve. It was watching Max and Haley like start to blossom more. So during their roles and really being able to help punch and push them forward, and watching all of these actors just perform so well. And I actually, when we wrapped, I thought, this is just as good as winning an award. I mean, it just felt that good.
Yeah.
So proud that we were able to make this work. Something that it's been, we've been
Years.
talking about for years. And it was just one of those proud moments that you'll take forever.
She texted me the next day. She was on set. She's like, I'm so happy. She's like, I'm dancing around. She was just it was just so cool to be a part of something creative and everybody to come together and have the crew and this team that shot us, Susie Q, Michael Vegas, their entire crew, just such an amazing group of people. It's like family. They're awesome. But I want to say too, I have the scene. So we did our sex scene. It was great. It was really cool because we dug deep for her. It was kind of the norm for me, but it was really cool because I got to see. But the scene after the defining scene for me was as I walked out of that, it was Tommy and Reagan and Max, and I heard it over and over. I walked down the stairs, we had people in the backyard, and I'm like, you guys got to go listen to that. I mean, it was pretty phenomenal. So that was my favorite scene of the movie.
The final scene when Tommy comes out of the bathroom and doesn't see her, and there was a lot of yelling and emotion,
and Max has never really, I don't think, had done acting like that, and
right.
and it was cool. It was a cool scene because when you're part of something and you see people, I don't know, pull that out of their ass. You're like, holy shit, like, wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing. It was really cool. Yeah, it was well done. And then of course, when we wrapped, the big group hurrah, and Bree does a really cool speech at the end. And we had access to a really cool 68 Camaro that just peeled off, and it was golden hour, and Bree gave this speech, and we just kind of sat there and went, that was awesome.
You know what I love, especially even now during this interview, Miss Seitz, you were looking at Reagan. You're an empath, so you could feel her pain, even though she might have been ignoring it.
Oh, I wasn't feeling her pain. I know her really well. And she's would never ask for a pillow. However, I know she'll take it if I make her take it. But she's not gonna ever put me out.
Your friendship is so evident through the social media. You guys together, you guys just gel. And I wanted to know, when you guys think of the other, what does the other person give to you? Because obviously, again, stressing it immensely, you have so much in common, especially the business aspects, the gardening, just the way you guys approach life. I wanted to know how you feel the other one has been the biggest blessing to you, how the other one's projected you forward.
I don't think that she can say I'm a blessing. I don't know.
Yes, I can.
Um,
Don't put words in my mouth. I will say we're very similar, but we're also very different, which I think is cool. You have to palpate that a little bit, but it's cool.
We are laid back, but you're more decisive, I guess. And I'm like, whatever, I'll just show up. So I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, but it's cool in cool ways because I'm like, we're gonna do this, and this, and she's like,
Okay.
I just want to pet these dogs. Aren't these? So it's like I have a tendency to really be like, which is great, but it's also really good to enjoy the journey and stay present. And I think that we have an amazing balance.
Yeah. It's nice to find a friendship within this industry. And she's more of a girl's girl than I am, I guess. So she has lots and communicates, and she lives here in LA and so forth, and I don't. So I think that for me, she's just been a blessing because I have someone to always talk to, and I'm not really open up a lot. So I think she's been my blessing for that, I guess I could say. If I have a problem, I don't want to talk about it. She kind of forces me to talk about it. She like gets it out of me. So,
Yeah. It's my foot bugging you. I don't know why it's tucked under your leg.
no,
Is it weird?
I think it needs to be closer to my butt.
Okay. I
No.
did that yesterday. I stuck my toe in someone's butt.
Was that for work purposes or an accident?
It was on.
It was a foot scene. I'm proud of it because he's a big pervert and he does all sorts of crazy foot stuff. And his little face when he was like, no one's ever done that. And I was like,
Speaking of work, ladies, I don't know, Miss Shay, you just did your first gangbang with Brazzers,
I
and
did.
that's a huge thing in the industry. I wanted to know what made the time right for it now, especially because getting everyone together, making sure you're comfortable with all your co-stars, you basically have the ball in your corner. You can do it as you please. So, what was that moment you said, you know what, we're going to go through with this finally?
Okay, so it's multifaceted. The biggest part of it was that, so I took a break. When I shot the bulk of my scenes before, it was just starting to be the MILF thing. There was a little bit of, my friend's hot mom, and then, fast forward 10 years and you come back and I'm everybody's mom, and there's very little, the anal scenes are few and far between because it just doesn't really make sense with most of our scripts. And even it's funny, I thought I'd go to Europe and get some more extreme scenes, and didn't happen. I was still everybody's mom. I think I did like a couple anal scenes, but no DPs. And I hadn't done any. And I'm like, I've got this one scene that's probably 15 years old called The Bride of Franken. And now I'm saying it publicly and everyone's going to go search it and it'll be worse.
She'll never get rid of it.
Oh, yeah. So, and it is.
She was trying to hide that scene.
Yeah, and it's the most. Oh, and they just
they made her look like Bridezilla with the
oh yeah, it was
streak.
Bride.
You gotta Google it. Everyone here should Google it.
Yeah,
It was gonna bring it back up.
And the best was I did the gangbang, and I'm like, okay, that'll get buried. Then someone's like, just like this scene, and I'm like, no,
it's never gonna die.
Yeah, it's a brother scene. So it's called Bride of Franken. It's a Halloween scene. So I had these white streaks off of my stuff's all torn. I get up, I'm like, give me dick. I mean, it's just bad.
Beautiful.
Every aspect of it. I love you, Brazzers, and I know it was Halloween, but I wish the scene would have just stuck with that Halloween. And but because I had nothing else, it was an airtight scene. It was 3 guys. It was at the time the most extreme scene I'd ever done, and I wanted to do a scene that people retweeted all the time and just fucking feel pretty. And so Kieran did it for me and they let me wear whatever I want. I got Peggy to do my makeup. I knew Mark would take beautiful pictures and everything about that scene. Everybody please retweet that scene like crazy. If you see Bride of Franken. So that was part of it. I'm like, I gotta redeem myself, man. So that was part of it. And then the other thing was like personal challenge. I'm like, I wonder if I could, yeah.
5 guys is a lot.
Well, no, it ended up being 4. I booked 5 because inevitably I knew one wouldn't show up.
Wise thinking. Shout out to Eric Everhard, who was a part of that, the Bridezilla Frankenstein scene.
Oh, see, he knows. Good Jesus Christ.
Past podcast guest. We had some great conversations, but
All Canadian.
now we got to go back to Reagan. Reagan, you are doing the spotlight for Naughty America. So they took 4 scenes, and that is one of those things where that's the industry, not just fans. The industry is saying, hey, thank you for your work. I'm anticipating the DVD, which is also dead for sales. So for them to make the DVDs is more of like hey, we're going out of our way to lose money to show you how important you are to us. When did they alert you to that they were going to do that?
I was actually informed about it. Kind of probably right before we started. So early summer, I was informed that it was going to happen. My team works really close with Naughty America, and I'm one of the top I don't know, have a very large catalog there, I guess. I don't know what number I am, but top 3 or 4. And they were like, we want to do something special for you. And you've been with us for 10 years. And so they said, we're going to do this. And I, I, I really didn't. I mean, I was excited for it, but I didn't know what I was going into. It's not like I, every day was, it was like a scene. Every day was just a scene. And then as it started to go along, I started to figure out how each scene would mesh with the other. But otherwise, I kind of went in a little bit blind. It was a great time. One of my favorite directors shot it, Shelby Black. And when it all turned out, it was like, that's really cool. I really enjoyed doing that. But, and I appreciate that they did that for me because they said that I had done so much for them. They wanted to give back. And that was a really great feeling to have. Yeah.
At this point in the career, as far as the industry is concerned, are there any more goals that are more of like a challenge beyond just saying like, hey, I want to do this? Are there any more goals as a performer you feel that are, if I'm going to be able to be claimed the best, I have to get this off my notch? Reagan, I know you've mentioned in the past that you thought about doing a gangbang or anal or other things, but now it seems like you guys can do as you please. So you would probably put it more towards working together in other projects, considering you both have your hand in other businesses.
I would like to do another showcase. Elegant Angel has reached out a few times, and I'm always like, I'm a little kind of scared about it because Elegant Angel to me is not really the type of sex that I have. Me coming in as the MILF, I have been conditioned to be more of the nurturing type of person. So to have that hardcore sex is very different for me.
You're good at it.
But I have considered that, and I think before I go, I probably will do some sort of extreme. I don't know how extreme that will be in the real world, but extreme for me. I will do something. I don't do anal. I really don't have the booty for anal. I don't. It just doesn't work. I don't. I
Oh, I thought you meant the booty. Like, I'm like, oh my.
Oh my, no, I got a
no
big old
ass.
booty. I'm talking about yeah, I don't really have the asshole for it, to be honest. It just doesn't like it.
Do you want me to check? I'm just kidding.
The last I tried to put a butt plug in and I literally had tears coming down. I had it all lubed up and I was like, it is not going in. And it's just this little bitty thing. So I don't really think so. Yes, before I go, I probably will do one more showcase and something extreme or whatever. And I would really and we'll do this sequel. But I don't know if I have any other goals. I feel like I personally met my goals. I came in so quiet and shy. And I think if you saw me 10 years ago versus now, I'm completely different. I'm much more open, even though maybe I'm kind of quiet. But I really enjoy being in front of that camera. It's a personal thing for me because I can envision myself opening up in a way that I never have in my life. And so that's what I get from it. I don't really know if there's any type of sexual things that I can do other than maybe a harder course showcase, but I think I've met all my stuff.
Yeah, and you should have seen her suck my toes yesterday.
Just plays it off like it ain't gonna come out later. Miss Seitz, I found it interesting that I wasn't able to find any ASMR with adult time because they've been doing ASMR. I know you've done healing work and that is some of the work you've done. Would you be open to working with them on that?
Some really good ASMR outtakes with Ray Parker on Instagram. I tried it once. It was a bit of a disaster, but the blooper reel, which was basically the entire thing, is amazing.
I didn't know that they did that. That's interesting.
Yes,
I could do that.
I have a microphone.
I did really want to stick on the healing that because you've done it over 25 years. You're aware of the 7 chakras, if I believe the point's right, which I love because back to the kickboxing and the martial arts, it all combines. You said you were growing through it. And something else that you said that really caught my attention is you said that people in the industry are some of the most spiritually aware. And I wanted you to flesh that out for the civilian, for the average listener, how you would define that. So I wanted your take on your journey.
That's an interesting thing because in the healing community and like the spiritual community, and I'm pretty well studied in that, which I think it has been really helpful for me. But I think there's people, there's a saying, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but that you can be a fisherman on a dot and be just as spiritual as the person that's read all of the books and done all of the work, right? And I think it's who you are as a human being and just how you live your life. And for me, it all boils down to love is everything, and unconditional love, allowing people to have their journey, and hopefully, finding a good group of people around you that allow you to have yours. What I love about this industry, and how for me, it's not only the people, but it really meshes with um, living a conscious life, is um, the level of non-judgment and unconditional love. And that's constantly growing. There was more judgment back years ago because we didn't. Now the openness of people, um, it's amazing to me. And when I took a break, I had to come back because of COVID. It shut down all of my businesses, and they're all doing great now. But I came back, and the MILF thing was huge, and I was like, oh, this is great too. I'm not leaving for a little bit. But the people I missed, I was burnt out before I shot a lot of scenes, and it the people are, I mean, if you like sarcastic wit and raunchy humor, you will never hear the kind of jokes that you'll hear on a porn set. I mean, it's fun. It's really funny. The jokes we all crack because nobody has hangups. And there's so many people in the world that are living their life hiding things and acting like they shouldn't do things and not living the life they really want to live. And I'm not saying everyone's doing that, and I'm not passing judgment on anyone. But us, we get a lot of judgment and people pointing fingers at us, but we get to live our lives in our truth. We get to do what we want to do and be around a bunch of amazing people that are openly loving and non-judgmental, and we all have different lives and different views, but we all get along. And that's what I love about the people and the industry.
I remember Isaiah Maxwell when I talked to him. I made him mention when he was at the AVN Awards, and he says, "You know what? Nobody supports us like us." And I think you guys have that ability to be yourselves. You don't have to hide because you've already put everything out there. So what more is there to hide? You can honestly be yourself and not have to worry about it. A big thing to me in this industry is the support system.
It's everything. And after 25 years, I've been through so many issues in this industry, like OSHA trying to take over our testing, FOSTA, SESTA, all different props and everything. And we band together. I remember back when I danced, I only featured for the Spearmint Rhino towards the end of my dancing. And we had an outbreak because it was when we used to do we did PCR DNA, but it was before we had quarantines. When you shot, people were going down to Brazil to shoot, and they still did ELISA tests. So we had an outbreak. And when that happens, we don't have SAG, we don't have, EDD or help in our industry. And they came to me, and it was my weekend, and they said, hey, can we do a fundraiser? And it was all of the biggest names in the industry, and we did a huge fundraiser and just donated all of our money to all of the crew and people that weren't working, because no one can work for 30 days. And it was such a cool event, and we do that often when things happen. So yeah, I love that we do band together. I wish that hopefully we will continue to do that, and people will stop attacking each other politically. And that's all I'm going to say.
Reagan, you yourself have come out and publicly spoken about like trying to get testing a certain way and trying to ban as well. But I still want to go back to this idea of support. Shay, I know you had a lot of people support when you entered the industry. And Reagan, I think of, I always call him Aaron, but Small Hands, his story and yours are very different circumstances behind why you're not talking to the person I'm mentioning. But it breaks my heart to see something like that. It's so traumatizing, not just for you, but that other person. So I didn't know if you guys had reconvenienced, if you've been able to have that talk. I would love to know if you've been able to reach out. I know your kids have been super supportive, and that's where that support system is. But I wanted to know who in the industry was really your knight in making sure, like, hey, you got this, or you know what, don't let them BS you.
For me, who's got me?
I mean, that's easy. I mean, I am only surrounded by, and I have a really good team. I'm only surrounded by people that I only have Chris Jenners in my life, like, right? I think everyone's supporting me. And regarding my father and the material sent to him, my father and I have made up, and we just don't talk about it. But I'm this girl, and it was right after COVID, and so COVID was a blessing for me to um, have a relationship back with my mom and dad again.
Oh.
Yeah. And my kids are super supportive. When I won that night, I text them, and I almost posted all of their text messages to me because they were like, "I'm so proud of you, and we know that you do this for us." And yeah. So everyone in my life is always, Team Reagan.
Shay, what about you? Who do you think was somebody that was one of the biggest supporters of your work?
Oh, that's tough because I've had such a long career, so there's been different people through the years.
I know you and Kiana were really close, but that was also because you both were Canadian and started around the same time.
Actually, her and I have houses right down the street from each other.
Really?
Still really good friends. Yeah, yeah.
Is she gonna come to the new spot? Congratulations on the purchase.
I just talked to her about that the other day, actually. And she's like, it sounds lovely. I know it's funny because it's a very private beach, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna, people come down there and shoot content. And the more I talk about it, the more I realize I'm like, I think people just need to come down there and like decompress and just get into the magical jungle and on that beach and like have tranquility and retreat, and not work. But
And certain places have that good energy.
yeah,
You know,
this place is pretty magical for me as far as peaceful and zen goes. Reagan's been there. She came down there in April with me.
Mhm. It's a good time. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I know you mentioned that it was a pain in the neck to try and get everything to go through. What were some of those obstacles?
Oh my God, it was a lot. There's nowhere near enough time. It was a difficult seller. It was Mexico's difficult. I started a Mexican corporation. There's a new government in office. There's all sorts of new anti-money laundering laws. Wiring money down there is difficult. Due diligence from the bank to get a corporate account, a difficult seller, massive amounts of things, new laws, new taxes on appraisals. I mean, it fucking on and on. It was intense. It was very intense. That video that you saw online, if that's what you're referring to, I was shell shocked. I literally felt like I went to battle. I couldn't even be happy that day. I went to a little place, and she's actually been in Bacalar on this lagoon with someone very close to me, and I was drinking wine and I'm like, I can't even be happy. And he goes, you just went to battle. And I did. I fought really hard for that property. It was intense because the guy selling it went bankrupt during COVID, and he had built it up from nothing, and he was an older man, and it was his dream. So I was saving it because I'm going to rehab it, and it's about to fall down. But I was also, his enemy and the person taking away his baby. So there was no agent, and I dealt with him directly. So it was intense. Yeah. And I'm really glad it's over. Rehabbing that thing, if you look at it, it's like, holy shit, that looks like a lot. That is nothing. That is like a 1 out of 100 of what I dealt with the sale. That's fun to me.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Shrek in the swim tank. But ladies, I always end these with the most important question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? And when I was thinking about phrasing it might be really difficult for you because when I think about it, like you're both accomplished women. You came from accomplished families. Reagan, your dad is a doctor. I apologize. Miss Seitz, you not only have a dad that was doing engineering, but you also have an ex-husband that's a lawyer too, that does contracts with you and all the other business ventures and the AI. So I wanted to know, like, is there a particular ideology or an idea that you kind of go back to? Because it's such an amazing life you ladies have lived as far as accomplishments and standing on your own 2 feet. There's a phrase somebody said, I think he was the makeup artist. He said, if you're gonna do it, do it. If you're not gonna do it, do something else.
Lee Garland. Yeah, if you're gonna do it right. If you're not, do something else. But he said it very persnickety because usually he was really pissed off at someone who didn't do it right.
Yikes.
Very, very
So what
picky.
would your advice be?
I was gonna say I've gotten so much advice, but I think I want to say exactly the same thing I said yesterday in the podcast we did, which is take a break. Don't burn out. I did it. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life, whether it's this industry, anything in life, self-care, take care of yourself, watch your energy, love yourself, treat yourself right, take breaks, balance your energy, because this one, we're sexual athletes, you know what I mean? And people think, oh, you're just having sex, and it's like, it is not. You're not just having at-home sex. We are entertaining, and they're long days, and we work our ass off, literally. And there is a lot of burnout. She's great because she comes in and she works really hard, and she goes home, and she still works hard at home. She's a very grounded life. But you have to go take your breaks. And so Reagan removes herself and goes home. I've now started removing myself, and I go to Mexico and put myself in a remote town where I can't really work because I can't help myself here.
My advice, I guess, is it just in general, or could it just be to the people in the industry, I guess? My
Oh
advice
yeah,
is
mine was to the, well, I guess so.
I just keep your drama to yourself. Don't put it on the internet. Don't fight. It's so hard with what we do anyway. And the younger girls, I guess, you're more competitive, and they like to argue and fight and get their fans all in uproar. And life's hard as it is. Don't Why add to it?
And this industry.
And when you do that, and you're just hurting the industry, and just try to keep it, offline.
Yeah.
Keep your life a little bit more
Because
private.
to your point, we do all band together, and we are a family, and we have had so much judgment. We are out there. We are all trailblazers, all of us, because we're out there living life in our truth, doing things that are a very easy target that people love to point the finger at and judge, instead of just go live their own life and look away. And a lot of people like to watch it behind closed doors and still judge. And we have to stick together, and we have to be a united family, and no matter what it is, whether it's views on testing, views on politics, whatever it is, the divide between us as a family and as a powerhouse and a group that needs to always band together.
We're family.
Yeah, we are family. We are.
Absolutely beautiful words, guys. That's a true testament to friendship. And I'm going to remind you guys, head over to Brazzers, check out the Gangbang from his sites, head over to Naughty America and check out her showcase. And most importantly, if you do anything, please help a brother out. Go to Adult Time, check out their co-written, co-performed great performance in Let Me In. Ladies, thank you so much. And for everybody asking, we don't have to tell you, it's going to be in the links below, but I would strongly suggest you head over to the Reagan Foxx on X and the Shay site. No, Shay slash.
Right. And they're very hard to find because we are always shadow banned, speaking of judgment in our industry, shadow and search banned. So the best way to do that is actually go on Google and go Reagan Foxx porn star, Twitter or X. Shay site, and then you can find our link. If you can't search us and find us, we're there. Most of the fake sites will pop, but we're there.
Yeah. And also too, if anyone ever asks you, any porn person ever asks you for money, don't. It's probably fake.
It's probably fake. If they say, if we're
yeah.
texting you, it's not us unless it's on Sex Panther or me.
Yeah, I feel bad for people that get scammed. So please don't fall for the gift card scam or anything.
I have one more thing to add. For everybody that is going to watch Let Me In or the sequel, Reagan and I, mine is still pinned. I don't know if yours is.
I have one pinned, yeah.
Yeah, on our X accounts at the top are pinned. Please click those links to get to the Adult Time. That'll take you right to Let Me In, and that actually helps support us, and it helps them with their metrics to know how much traffic we're bringing in. So
yeah, because we want to make you part 2.
And don't forget those affiliate links that they just mentioned. That's why I mentioned X. They do kind of get some compensation for that. So go support your favorite actresses. Ladies, thank you so much for your time, especially with how busy today's been.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And everybody else, you know the thing I always say, be smart, be mindful, rock on, ninja out. Also, Easter eggs, the hat, that was for you, Miss Reagan, and the elbows, and then Miss Sights, just to more of your Dom aspect. That was why I was saying things a certain way.
I didn't even catch the elbows until now. Oh my gosh, that is funny. You did
But
your research for sure.
Can I video you?
Woo, baby, you listen to John the Ninja. Oh, your ears are about to go on a vacation. John the Ninja's got what you need.